What is up, everybody, and thank you for clicking on today's episode brought to you by Backyard Zombie. And in today's episode, we're going to be doing a small finishing of a 3D print. We're going to be finishing a 3D print by Joey Berg, and he has printed me Mia's necklace from the Evil Dead Remake. So, let's get started. So, I'm actually a huge fan of the Evil Dead Remake. I think it actually does everything it should do as a horror remake. I think it lifts up the franchise. It's its own secluded story. It's very good. Mia and David are brother and sister, just like Ash and Cheryl are siblings, and they have this cool dynamic, and the story is not what you expect it to be, but it's a really cool Evil Dead movie, and I truly enjoy it. But one thing they did in the remake, they added a couple of key props from the movies, like the chainsaw, the Delta is even in the movie. But at one point, David gives Mia a necklace, which is supposed to make her will stronger. He says it's made from a buckthorn tree, and this is the necklace that he gives her. And as you can see, it is obviously the magnifying glass necklace we see in Evil Dead 1, Evil Dead 2, and I believe we don't see it again until Ash vs. Evil Dead Season 3. Quote me if I'm wrong in the comments, please. But this print by Joey Berg is so cool, and I'm so excited to finish it with just some items I have lying around the house. So, let's get started. So here's the print by Joey Berg, and it is absolutely awesome. He did such a great job designing, scaling, and replicating this prop from the Evil Dead Remake, and I love all the texture, and he was able to get a necklace loop and all that fun stuff, and such a great design. I ended up going back to Michael's and finding these beads, but I got the wrong ones, and you'll see later why in the video. But I'm going to use this stain to stain the beads, so let's get these two together and let's get started. So I poured the stain into this little plastic dish, had a little fun, and then dumped all the beads in because I didn't know how many beads I was going to really need. I ended up using over 100 beads, 50 on each side, to go up the necklace. And I began to stir them like Cocoa Puffs. And yeah, I might have enjoyed the ASMR on this a little too much, but it's such a fun thing to do, is staining and mixing beads. But the reason why this did not work is because these were already treated beads. I should have gotten unfinished wood beads, but I didn't. And here I'm showing, recycling the stain, putting it back. But as you can see already, some of the beads, they did not take to the stain. And you pour it out, and this is when I started getting a little, I was like, oh no. Oh no. Because I knew the minute I wiped these off and started drying them off, I was going to have a very bad time. And yep. Boo. I am really excited to get this print rolling, and I just want to take a little time to advertise Joey's website. If you go to justalittlemad.com, the description is in the link down below. You can see that Joey is an amazing 3D artist, and he makes all these really cool things, whether it's from Ghostbusters, Child's Play, and of course all of my favorite stuff from Evil Dead. He makes the KOS ring, which is awesome. He makes the original magnifying glass necklace from Evil Dead. He also makes Pablo's pendant, which I have right here finished, that I finished it myself. And then of course he is the one who designed me this from Evil Dead the Remake, and some of his other cool stuff. He's working on stuff from Piranha, more stuff from Ghostbusters. So if you like what you see here and you're thinking about, hey, I want to finish one of those prints by Joey, go on down to the description down below, justalittlemad.com, and reach out to Joey. He's a great guy, and I cannot wait to do further collaborations with him. So time to go to Plan B, where I mixed some burnt sienna and some brown, and I just went to town. And I knew this was going to work, and it created a really cool crackle effect on the stain, where the stain wasn't dry all the way, and where the burnt sienna and the brown would come through. And I actually really like how the beads turned out on mine, but this is obviously not as accurate as the movie is because they are stained beads. But I don't know, I think it adds a lot of character to the necklace overall. And continue on mixing. So I pour this all out, and yeah, it looks, so fun. And I pat them all down, trying to get the paint off, or like start the drying process. And I'm just patting them down, patting them down, and then I peel away and then try to get the beads to fall onto the other. And then I begin the drying process. I'm using my heat gun, and this is going to help speed this along just a little bit so I don't have to wait all that time. Then we begin the process of removing the beads from the towel, and we're going to start putting these into another container to dry, where hopefully don't have a lot of them sticking to one another, and I didn't really have a lot sticking to each other, nothing really hardened over time. I let these sit for about a day, but I got to painting the silver bits, and I ran out of silver paint, so I ended up using Rub and Buff. The only thing about Rub and Buff is that if it gets on something, you're going to have to cover it up with more paint, but that's okay. And I like the gleam. It hits the light really well. It's really nice. And now we begin the grueling process of putting these beads through this twine. And this took a while because the twine just didn't want to agree with the beads. But worth it. And there you have it, folks. That is how I made this Mia necklace from the Evil Dead Remake as a collaboration with Joey Berg. You can go to his website in the link down below. But yeah, this necklace was so fun to make, and I did end up using some different beads just to add a little pizzazz. It's not very screen accurate, but this is for me. This is for my collection. I now own a really cool piece from the remake, and this was such a fun little project. And I learned a lot about wood beads because, yeah, that little snag of using already processed beads and not just unfinished clean beads would have been a lot better. And if I do revisit this project, that's what I'll use, unfinished wood. But this is a really cool necklace, and here it is going on me, and boom. So yeah, if you guys enjoyed this video, please think about liking and subscribing. And if you have any other Evil Dead props you would love me to make from Joey, please leave comments down below, and I will see you guys in the next video.